Welcome, passionate football fans. This is the Overthinker Podcast. I am quite excited to be watching football again. That was quite the blowout I was not expecting. But yeah, the Bills just came out ready to go. They looked like a better coached team. They had the better offensive line, better defensive line, secondary. It was just a good team effort from the Bills. I guess I'm not surprised, coming off that loss to the Chiefs in the playoffs. That was probably pretty frustrating, and they definitely had some motivation going into this game because they felt like they should have been in the Super Bowl probably. Because of the NFL overtime rules, they weren't able to get the ball back. And that's pretty frustrating, It is what it is. And yeah, basically in that game, the Bills were unstoppable versus the Chiefs, and that kind of carried over into this game. Some of that frustration, definitely. So yeah, we'll have to see how far that motivation goes this season. Are they going to consistently show up every week and play this well? But if it does happen, they could realistically win 15, 16 games. This is a really loaded roster for the Bills. The only clear position they don't have a ton of depth is wide receiver, but they do have two guys that I think are pretty good. And then I also like Jamison Crowder as a solid slot wide receiver. He's pretty solid. He made some good plays this game. And yeah, I guess we'll have to see if the Bills can put it together long-term this season and make the Super Bowl. But it was fun to see Josh Allen play at a really high level again. And Aaron Donald made quite a few plays. Both wide receivers for this team, Cooper Kupp, Stephon Diggs, had pretty good games. A lot of targets. And for both of these teams, I was kind of expecting to see a little more spreading the ball around and maybe the elevation of a wide receiver too. And I guess for the most part, the Bills, we did kind of see that with Stephon Diggs and Gabriel Davis. Even though Gabriel Davis only had 5 targets, he did get that deep shot to the post and basically scored a touchdown off that. That was a pretty nice play. But then you also had Zach Moss get 6 receptions, which is interesting. Yeah, was not expecting that. Also was not expecting James Cook to fumble on his only carry. So I was expecting him to probably be the pass down back, but maybe that changed after him fumbling. Not quite sure, but he didn't go back in the game after that, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I guess my prediction for this game going under went pretty well. The over-under was 52 points, and I was expecting a few turnovers, but I was not expecting. I believe there were 7 turnovers in this game, and that doesn't count the turnover on downs at the end of the game, with the Rams turning it over on downs, trying to basically pad the stats and make the game a little closer. But yeah, 7 turnovers. Stafford, I think, had 3 interceptions. Yeah, so you had Stafford throwing 3 interceptions, Josh Allen 2 interceptions, and then there was also 2 fumbles in the game. And yeah, so early on this game, it looked like it was going to be kind of a blowout. You had the Bills going up 10-0, and then the Rams coming back to tie it up at 10. And even in the first half, the Rams were really struggling to block Von Miller. And it was pretty evident they were going to have problems throughout the game blocking Von Miller. But then it just kind of got worse with guys like Boogie Basham also making plays. I guess second-round pick for the Bills. I had not heard of him before last night, but he had a heck of a game. And he looks like he's going to be a problem versus weak guards on the inside especially. And then they also have Gregory Rousseau, who they drafted, I think, in the first round last year. He's looking pretty good. And then they also have Ed Oliver playing pretty well. I believe he got injured. Hopefully it wasn't nothing serious. Yeah, it looks like Ed Oliver is going to be back next week playing. Not certain what the injury was, but it definitely wasn't anything serious. Yeah, and also in the first half, you had guys like Cooper Kupp and Stephon Diggs making plays. And then Aaron Donald actually had a heck of a first half as well. He was a big part of the Rams coming back there. And yeah, he had a sack, and he also had some other plays he made. He looked pretty good. He looked like the best player in the NFL again. And then in the second half, it was just a bit too much. It's hard to expect one guy on the defensive line to make plays consistently throughout a game. And Aaron Donald has shown the ability to make incredible plays consistently, but if you give him another guy on the edge, like Von Miller, obviously it makes it easier. But yeah, Josh Allen throughout this game was pretty impeccable. I believe he started with like 10 straight completions or something crazy. They did all sorts of stuff. They did short game. They did RPO. They did just like quarterback power stuff, even some plays that look like quarterback power where he actually threw the ball. And then they also mixed in some deep passing. They had that play to Gabriel Davis, a couple plays to Stephon Diggs. Yeah, it was a pretty fun game to watch from Josh Allen. He was on fire, basically looked as good as he ever has. He only missed like one or two throws the whole game pretty much. And yeah, other than that, you also had Darrell Henderson basically being the starting running back for the Rams. Looks like Cam Akers is kind of in the doghouse. We didn't hear anything about that before the game, but now looking at Twitter the next morning, it looks like he's definitely in the doghouse or something. Sean McVay basically said he has to take more advantage of all of his opportunities and stuff like that. So maybe it kind of sounds like he was late for practice or something. I'm not sure, but it sounds like he just kind of got benched this week. Hopefully it's a 1 week thing for fantasy owners, but I don't have any Cam Akers in my fantasy. He's a really good player. I actually consistently thought about drafting him, but it never happened. But yeah, if that is the case, Darrell Henderson might be a good play in prop bets next week. Just depends. It just depends what the odds are. And yeah, also you have Allen Robinson only getting 1 target the whole game when you have guys like Ben Skoranek getting 6 targets. That's pretty crazy. Now, Allen Robinson is a guy who typically only works the deep portion of the field. So that's not too surprising considering the Rams had no chance at blocking the Bills' defensive line. I believe the Bills didn't blitz once this entire game, or maybe like once or twice, but like pretty much all the pressure was coming instantly just from their defensive line. They were doing some twists and stuff and things to basically create pressure, but they also were winning lots of one-on-ones, so they basically had no problem getting to Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford got sacked 7 times this game, so yeah, pretty crazy. He was basically running for his life the whole second half and throwing the ball to Cooper Kupp. That was pretty much it. At some point in the second half, it looked like he was definitely flustered and did not play as well. They definitely had some stuff underneath that they could have done. And yeah, you also had Tyler Higbee get 11 targets, which is a lot, probably more than he typically would get in a game. So that's interesting. I do like Tyler Higbee a lot. He is one of the better, like, kind of red zone threat, underrated tight ends, I think. So yeah, not surprised, but that's a good number for him. Yeah, and Allen Robinson only getting 1 catch this game is not very good, but I would expect him to get more targets going forward. I mean, it's really just the offensive line couldn't do much, and Cooper Kupp is more the guy that's going to get early separation in routes, and Allen Robinson is the guy who's going to get late separation in routes. That's really the difference. You kind of have the X receiver in Allen Robinson, and then Cooper Kupp's going to be able to basically get open a lot of the shorter stuff, but also the long stuff too. Cooper Kupp's insanely good. And yeah, Josh Allen had a pretty good day targeting Jalen Ramsey, I guess. Jalen Ramsey allowed over like 100-something yards and a touchdown. So that's pretty interesting how he definitely wasn't afraid at going after Jalen Ramsey in this game. And yeah, so also I want to look at the bets that I placed this game. And I took James Cook anytime touchdown. That didn't happen because he only had the 1 carry where he fumbled and then didn't get back in the game. So I do wonder what would happen if he didn't fumble. But I guess we'll just have to see going forward how much playing time he really gets. But I thought plus 380 on that was pretty solid. And if I'd seen that again, I probably would take it again just because he's going to be in the fold if he's playing, but not if he's fumbling. So we'll see. Then I took the Rams to cover. Obviously, that didn't happen. The Bills were favored by 2 points, and that did not happen. Quite the blowout. Then taking under 52 points was a W. So I do have one win, 1 loss. Not counting the prop bets on this. I'm just going to be counting like taking over and unders and betting versus the spreads. So right now we're even on that. I also took another bet on DraftKings. It was for Cooper Kupp and Stephon Diggs to combine for 250 yards and 2 touchdowns. And that happened exactly because Stephon Diggs had 122, Cooper Kupp had 128, so that makes 150, and they both had a touchdown. So it happened exactly, which is pretty odd. But that was plus 1,200, so $5 bet got me $65 on that. so not too bad. Maybe I would do something in the future to keep track of these prop bets. It might just be the plus minus. And as far as my bets on these, I'm just doing basically 1 unit, or like 1% of how much you are betting this season, basically. So that's kind of the way I'm going with this. And I'll keep track of this throughout the season. And hopefully I'll be able to make one of these every Thursday game. And after every Monday night game, I will review my bets I had for Sundays. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this video. Really excited to watch football on Sunday. I'm going to make another video kind of going over my thoughts on each game and the bets I'm going to place. And then, yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm really excited to just sit down and watch football all Sunday. It's going to be awesome. And I can't wait for it. But it's going to be here in just a couple days. All right, we'll see you.